A very good morning, children. Our next chapter in English literature that we are going to take up for study is Chapter 4, Uncle Podger Leaves for Work by Jerome Klapka Jerome. Now, before we move on to the explanation of the prose piece, I would like to share a few details about the author with you. It is important for us to know about Jerome Klapka Jerome because he has been a very reputed name among children because of his humorous, very amusing and entertaining novels, Three Men in a Boat, Three Men on the Bummel, and a few more which he has written. In your next slide, you can see the picture of Jerome Klapka Jerome, who was born on 2nd May 1859 at Staffordshire, England, and he breathed his last on 14th June 1927 at Northampton, United Kingdom. He was an English writer and humorist. His best known work is his iconic travelogue, Three Men in a Boat, published in 1889. Some of his other works include Idle Thoughts of an Idle Fellow, published in 1886, The Second Thoughts of an Idle Fellow, and Three Men on the Bummel, which was published in 1900. Three Men on the Bummel is a sequel to Three Men in a Boat. Now, Three Men in a Boat, as I have told you, was published in 1889 and it happened to become an instant success with innumerous numbers of prints published and printed till date and selling over 1 million of copies of this book worldwide. Now, why I intend to tell you in details about Three Men in a Boat is because Uncle Podger, the name that is mentioned in the title of your story, is one of the characters of this story, of this novel, Three Men in a Boat. Although Uncle Podger does not appear in the novel in person, but it is in the words of the narrator that we come across his characteristic features. Now, Three Men in a Boat gives an account of a 2-week boating holiday on the Thames from Kingston to Oxford and back to Kingston. In this slide, you can see the picture of River Thames. This was up the banks of River Thames that the three important characters, the three men in fact, decided to take up a boating journey. This novel, let me tell you, initially was aimed to be a serious travel guide which would exhibit local history along the route, but the humorous elements, the fresh and witty jokes were found to be much more attractive by the readers. Hence, the novel was more reputed to be a comical one, a humorous one, providing laughter and uproars to people, and that is one major reason why this novel became so famous among people of all age groups. Now, the three men, like I told you, are based on Jerome Klapka Jerome himself, who is called Jay in the novel, and his two real life friends, George Wingrave and Carl Henschel, called Harris in the book. Now, there is another extremely interesting character in the novel. If you read it, you will know. That is in the form of a dog named Montmorency. However, Montmorency is an entirely fictional one. Now, the three friends one fine day come to a conclusion that they are suffering from overwork, and they decide on a boating holiday up the river Thames. Now, river Thames, the picture of which you have seen in this slide, let me tell you, is the longest river in England and the second longest in the United Kingdom. It flows through southern England, including London. So the three friends decide to take up this journey. Of the three friends, two of them, that is Jay and Harris, decide to make their way to Kingston by train. This is where Kingston appears in this particular map. They had decided to take up a boat from Kingston. However, they first reach the Waterloo station that you can see here. Waterloo station here. After the Waterloo station, from here they reach the Kingston station, and from the Kingston station they decide to hire a boat in order to carry on with their journey. Now this route map gives you the route of the journey that was taken by these three men along the river Thames. So the journey started from Kingston, and they had to travel up to Oxford, and this was a part of their plan of the journey, that they would again come back from Oxford to Kingston following the same route, and this entire journey would be covered only by a boat. Now these various points that you see here marked in black, these are the various names of the places which are mentioned in the novel. These are the places where they halt and they mention of passing by, and the green spots that you see are the places where they had halted at night. Okay, now after this, in our next class we should take up with the further explanation in the story. Let me tell you, the entire novel is about this boating journey, and the experiences of the three men are fraught with very entertaining and amusing experiences, and this is what the entire novel presents to the readers. The hilarious effect is extreme. I suggest all of you students should go through this novel. You might find this in our library as well. Once the school reopens, I would like you to read this book. In our next class, we shall begin with the explanation of the chapter. My intention to tell you in details about these few things was that Uncle Podger appears in the third chapter of this novel, and it is important for you to know from where this character is exactly taken, where is the mention of this character. So Uncle Podger appears in the third chapter of Three Men in a Boat. He is a very funny character, very absent-minded, sometimes troublesome, chaotic, not easily pleased. We shall get to know more about him when we read the story. So we shall wait for the next class for the explanation of the story. Until then, thank you children. Stay safe. Bye-bye.